What's going on, everybody? Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Note Night in America. We're excited to have you guys here join us today. We got our special guest going to join us here in just a few minutes. Christy, I'm going to put you off your video right now because I see you, but we're going to jump into a few things here real fast before bringing on our special guest. But guys, welcome to Note Night in America. I said I see you. Yes, I saw a few of you. All right. To change the WCN address, drop me an email, Roy. That's what you need to do. All right. So we're excited to have you guys tonight. Got a lot of great stuff that we're going through here in a little bit. Let's go through our usual announcements before we dive into knocking it out of the park for you. All right. Tonight's is all about base hits and home runs. We'll get to that in a minute. Before we do that, though, as always, we like to stress what our big goal is here at We Close Notes. Our biggest goal here over the next 5 years is to help educate and create 10,000 note investors, and we're on our way to doing that. So the only way we can do that with all of you is if you guys help share the message, share what we got going out there. So if you're watching this live on Facebook, do me a favor and hit the share button, share it to your page, share it to a group you're a part of. Let's see how many people we can actually get to watch this thing, because this is going to be a very valuable episode of Note Night in America. So help us hit our goal of 10,000 new note investors over the next 5 years. And trust me, there's plenty of inventory to go around. But anyway, who's on Note Night in America? Well, that's a good question. If you're joining us for the first time, and some of you guys are, obviously a lot of active real estate investors, note investors, people looking to get into notes. Yes, these calls are recording. The red light is on. Yep, red light's recording. And you can catch these at basically two places. You can catch them at WeCloseNotes.tv, or you can catch the recordings. The videos are at WeCloseNotes.tv, or you can catch the recordings by going to iTunes and listening in, as these are recorded podcast episodes now. Yes, they are available on iTunes. All 2018 episodes are. Nothing before 2018. We'll worry about those later on, but each new episode takes about 4 days for it to get up on iTunes for you. So if you miss this or got a bug out soon or get striked out by something else, you can go back to iTunes and watch the replay here in a couple days, or listen to the replay a couple days, or go to WeCloseNotes.tv and catch the video roughly in about 48 hours. As always, guys, let you guys know, we do have Note Camp 5.0, which is just over a month ago. Each session is being uploaded on iTunes, Stitcher as individual podcast episodes. Most of them are up on there right now. So you can go on there and listen to anywhere from Sharon Lichter to Alan Calgill to Rhonda Britton to Nathan Long to our guest Christy Whites talk about some great stuff on Note Camp 5.0 up there. And that's over, I think, 1,500 downloads. As little as we've had it up, it's doing some good stuff. So listen to there. And most importantly, thank you. My big applause goes out to everybody here. I want to thank all of you for listening to the Note Closers Show, or most of you anyway. We hit 100,000 downloads just a few hours ago, yesterday actually, and just jacked up about that. We hit it literally on the 9-month goal of when the first episode came out on iTunes. So very stoked about that. We got some big numbers that we want to hit, but that's one of the first goals that we plan to hit, was wanting to hit 100,000 downloads before our first year. We did it. Now we need to reset our goals and strive for some bigger things. I'll knock it out of the park with that. But anyway, speaking of notes, the Note Closer Show, we are obviously taking a little bit of a siesta. Not the show, but myself and Steph are headed out on a little bit of vacation, some fun here over the next couple weeks. But we are not going to leave you guys hanging. If you have not listened to the episodes in the last couple of weeks, go out, check a few of the newest episodes we uploaded. But we did not want to leave it vacant for 3 weeks. So we've got some great guest hosts going to be taking over the Note Closer Show starting tomorrow morning and running through when we get back on the 12th. Big shouts out to Bill Grusmer, Gail Villanueva, Eric Hyde, Gail Greenberg, Chris Savigny, Katie Moton, and Patty Ped. We're all going to rotate through, sometimes 2, sometimes 3 at a time, over the next couple weeks for you. So I know they've all got some great stuff lined up. They were all pretty excited when we had a call last night to kind of discuss scheduling. So you're in some good hands, some great new content. And we're just going to shake it up a little bit, shake it up a little bit so you guys can, it's always good to learn. It's always get some fresh meat on the show. And so, let's see here. Most of these people have been on this show. There's a couple that haven't yet, but they've got some great things to provide, anywhere from like Gail's closing on her first few notes. Patty's closing on a couple notes. Katie and Bill have closed on a few notes. Eric's, I think, close to 20, 25. Gail's in upper 30s. Chris is over 45, close to 50 now. So you got some really great stuff to learn from and topics that they'll be discussing over the next from May 22nd to June 12th. So roughly about 14, 15 episodes with guest hosts for you. So tune in each day on our Facebook page at 10 a.m. Central. If you're listening, you'll be able to catch the replays also on the Note Close Show podcast and iTunes Stitcher as well. So before we dive in, we've got dates for stuff upcoming. This June 15, 16, 17 is the next Fast Track training here in Austin, Texas. June 30th is National Social Media Day, which I'm excited about because our guest here tonight is also a big heavy hitter for that on Saturday, June 30th. If you want to find more about that, we'll talk about that tonight. July 13th to 14th is our Note Boardroom. First time we're doing this in Vegas. Pretty stoked about that. If you want more information about what's going on that 2-day training, let me know. July's Fast Track training is July 20th to the 22nd. Our podcast movement in Philadelphia that we'll be attending is July 23rd to the 26th with roughly about 3,500 other podcast guest hosts. I'm pretty stoked about that. And then we also have our Note Mastermind taking place the 23rd and 24th in Dallas, Texas, which butts up next to the Quest Expo on the 25th and 26th there at the Westin as well. So we're pretty stoked about those events. And let's not forget our next virtual note buying workshop is August 31st through September 2nd. All right, just had to change a couple dates around for everybody on that. But anyway, those are the upcoming events. Any questions about any of those dates before we dive into the main content tonight, everybody? Any questions about anything? You can use the chat box or the Q&A session on the Zoom control panel to ask your questions, everybody. If you have questions about any classes or anything like that, feel free to drop me an email at scott@weclosenotes.com. Be glad to go or send me a text message at 512-585-3810. I'll try to answer you as best I can over the next 2 days. Anyway, so let's dive into tonight's main content: base hits and home runs. That's what everybody likes to talk about. Ooh, he hit a triple, a double, a single, home runs. That's the kind of the analogy aspect of it. But I always like to ask, are you a 5-tool player? Now, you don't have to be around me long to know that I absolutely love baseball. I got like 3 different bats. I got a Bo Jackson bat. I have a Kirby Puckett bat. I had something in the corner here with dirt from every stadium. I absolutely love baseball. And every time I go to a baseball game, it's actually my way of relaxing a lot and taking in. I get a lot of inspiration from games. I get a lot of ideas. Lots of great stuff out there when it comes to baseball. And there's so many business lessons that come with it. But I always like to ask, when I'm talking to people, I ask questions about them as a real estate investor and a note investor, because if you're going to be successful in this for a long term, you've got to kind of have the 5 tools around you. And with baseball, when they talk about a 5-tool player, it's somebody who throws well. This is one of the first tools. Fields well, catches the ball, plays defense pretty good. They runs the bases. Runs the bases well. They don't get picked off. They're speedy. They can go from first to third in a base hit. It's that kind of stuff. They obviously hit for average. Okay, they hit for average. By average, I mean over 300 batting average, or they hit for power. And as we always like to say, chicks dig the long ball. So those are the 5 tools, and you're probably thinking, okay, how does this all fit in to the note business? Okay, how does this all fit in the note business? Well, let's talk through some of these. So let me give you an example. If somebody throws well, it's all about marketing. Okay, and it all literally starts with marketing. All right. Nothing happens in baseball until somebody throws a baseball. Okay. First pitch, second pitch, nothing happens until somebody's pitching. Okay. And I see so many analogies between that and marketing. We'll go through it in a second. The second tool, they field well. It's all about due diligence. It's all about kind of loss mitigation, seeing what's going on with the deal and being able to play defense on that aspect. Running the bases well, I'm a big believer that's a delegation of duties to the experts. Okay. You gotta be able to run the bases well. And yes, you can go from first to third, but most of that comes from giving people the right tools or the right direction so they can make those decisions. Having those pitch runners run for you versus you trying to do it all yourself. Of course, hits for average. This is people that get consistent ROIs on deals. We're not talking home run deals, but in most traditional real estate investing, they're seeing like a 12 to 25% deal. 12 to 25% ROI or yield on their investments because they're doing things on a consistent basis. There's nothing wrong with getting 12 to 25, whether 12% on for your own investment or you're splitting a JV deal and shooting for the 25% range. And then the hits for powers. These are the guys or gals out there. They're just swinging for the fences. Deals with big numbers, or they've got big ROIs lined up and they're trying to hit it out of the park every time. I'm also a big proponent that your bigger checks, your out of the park ones, are the ones you end up probably foreclosing on that turn into REOs, or you hold on to those reperformers for a while and then sell them off as reperformers in 12 to 18 months. So, but let's talk about throwing the rock, okay? Let's talk about the first thing you have to do with being a baseball player or in the note business, throwing a rock, okay? As I said before, the games don't start until someone has to throw a pitch. Now, pitch can be a variety of different things. Obviously, as a pitcher, if you're like Mad Dog, Madison Bumgarner there, you're enticing someone to either swing at a pitch, right? He's got a wicked slider, curveball, fastball. You know, Big Hickory, or Big Country as they call him, from Hickory, North Carolina, is going to throw a fastball. You know, and there's a variety of pitching. And the analogy of pitching somebody is you're also throwing a ball down the middle, trying him to swing at it to either A, fund your deal, or A, to send you a deal, okay? If you think about this, an analogy of this, there are 27 outs in baseball, right? 9 innings, 3 outs each to finish the game for the most part, unless it goes in extra innings. But 27 outs in a game, okay? Now, there's no pitcher out there that has thrown a game that's been 27 pitches. 27 pitches. Now, there have been games where they had a perfect game where they only pitched to 27 people, but they still had to throw more than 27 pitches. Nobody's perfect, okay? And you have to realize this in your pitch. What you're doing as a note investor, you're not going to be perfect. The average baseball game has about 146 pitch average per side, okay? 146 pitch average per game out there. If you figure 27 outs at 146 pitches, that means you're only getting out roughly about 19% of the time, which is pretty normal as a note and real estate investor. You got about 20% closing ratio. If you get 20%, you're doing awesome, okay? So I wanted to bring on one of the best pitching coaches that I know. Hopefully she's still listening there. Our pitching coach today shares something with you on the best ways on how to really throw some things out there before we dive into the rest of the information. Is our good friend Christy Whites. Let's give her a big round of applause, everybody. Christy, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Christy, Earth to Christy.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Oh, Christy.
What? I'm here.
See, she's here. Hang on, I'm gonna text her. You're on.
Can you not hear me? Hello?
Oh, I see messages here.
Hello?
You can hear her. I can't. Okay, hang on. Maybe it's just me. Hang on a second. You know what? It's probably.
I can't hear Scott now.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Oh, see, error on my fault. I had the wrong speaker. I had the speaker into my microphone versus being a public thing here. So, all right, good times. Well, hey, let me go through and get some of the stuff out here. I'm, setting you up here for big things tonight. There being the head pitching coach. Do you hear that?
Oh, yay!
So one of the big things that we were talking about earlier a second ago here is everybody's got different pitches that they do, right? Especially being a starting pitcher. We all have things. We're all the pitchers in our business, right? We're the guy up there, the gal up there throwing heat, trying to get people or investors to swing at either deal or funding things, stuff like that. And so you and I talked a little bit earlier about kind of some of the common, the basic things that are most attractive or the easiest for investors to do. All right. And first of all, before you dive into that, for those that don't know who you are, why don't you take a second to share about who you are and what Serving Social is and why you're such a badass at what you do.
I was born with that, so you can't help skills. Sometimes you got it, sometimes you don't. No, just kidding. Christy White. I am the CEO and founder of Serving Social, where we make marketing simple. So our goal is to make marketing simple for you through education, through resources, through tools, whatever it may be. I love it. I live it. I breathe it. I'm hard to watch TV with because I keep dissecting the commercials. It's a lot of great fun. But we're a husband and wife team. My husband's my business partner, and we are nomadic. So we are actually called digital nomads, hashtag. And we travel around in our RV around the country. We work with business owners in different towns in different states.
It's perfect. Yeah. And I just sent you a request to see if you can start your video. Do you want to be on video or no? Do you just want to be audio?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. There we go. I see your white.
So I'm not playing.
All
Can
right.
you see me?
I see your white light.
Hang on. How do I turn that around?
There you go. Perfect.
Wait, did I get it?
Yeah, you're good. You're good now.
Okay, cool. See, technology. This is why Elijah is here.
Yeah, I got a social light in my office right now shining on me too. Hey, Elijah. So, what's up, buddy? So one of the things out here, you're helping entrepreneurs all across the country, not just locally, but all across the country, throw strikes in their business. And I was wondering, we talked about how a lot of times there's 3 simple things that people can do to really kind of get their pitch rocking and rolling. And we I threw a couple things up there, make it simple: a fastball, a curveball, and a changeup. So as a fastball, what is something that because everybody can throw a fastball, all right? What are some things that everybody can do to help them in their game?
Well, they have to first recognize that it's going to change, that social media is never going to stay the same, and that it constantly keeps changing the rules. Like, just anytime anything switches or changes around, you need to know about it so that you can be at the forefront of it. Just like people practice their pitches, they practice their fastball. You need to be practicing and knowing what's going on with the networks. So I'd say the biggest thing that you can change is start integrating in 30 minutes, if you can, to educating yourself on what's going on within each network. Social media today is a great resource. Serving Social is a great resource. Shameless plug there. But you need to find what you're really passionate about. So if it's Facebook, if you're Instagramming, find the network that's going to give you the information you need to stay up to date about it. That's the quickest way that you're going to figure out what you need to be putting into play.
Right. You just start doing stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the next one. Stay active. It's so what I've noticed now is that people are starting getting the hang of scheduling their content. And so then they schedule it and they make the worst mistake ever of never going back and checking any of it. So the staying active part is an every single day thing. It's engagement. It's going out and reaching out and talking to people. It's not only just replying to the people that have engaged with you, but going out and seeking out people to engage with, to join a new group. We make rules of engagement so that you are actively participating every single day. So if you set a goal, like I'm going to talk to 3 new businesses, I'm going to find 5 new note investors, like whatever it may be, you're actively paying attention to that every single day and executing it.
That's a good idea. So they're out there getting started, whether it's posting to LinkedIn or posting to Facebook or Pinterest, whatever there is, their kind of identifier, what they see the most amount of good from, whether it's, doing a Facebook Live or recording video now to LinkedIn, that you see LinkedIn's getting on the page of uploading videos to it now. So, LinkedIn's
allowing hashtags, like they're actively embracing it now and allowing it to be part of their search and their results. So it's definitely talking about my first point of it will change. There's right there proof of it. The quickest thing, like the things to pay attention to right now for Instagram, it's Insta Stories. Like that was all what Snapchat was all about, is these stories. And in a year after launching it, Instagram is pretty much dominating the short story feature. So paying attention not only to posting to Instagram, but posting to your story. And the same thing with Facebook. They have your story as well, lasts for 24 hours and disappears. Those have been very beneficial and very quick results in terms of engagement. Another feature is leveraging live video. I'm going to keep going back to that. It's all about live video. Like if you know that Twitter and Facebook want to go in the route of a YouTube, then you need to be preparing yourself in that type of content to be putting it out there. Whether it be pre-recorded or live or anything, just start pushing video out and getting used to it. It's not going away. Another element is chatbots. And Scott, you and I learned a lot about chatbots. It was like drilled into our heads at Traffic and Conversion in February. But social media, like, you can't be sitting here answering every single message every single day. Like, it's going to become overwhelming at one point in time, especially if you decide to run ads, which are something that I'm going to suggest that you do too. And normally I was anti-ads, all organic, but things are changing. Again, back to my first point.
Yeah, that's kind of the curveball I think that's been thrown recently. Because when we were at Traffic Conversion, they did talk about chatbots, and then about a month and a half ago, Facebook changed up their algorithms, changed up how they allow chatbots to kind of into it. And I know most people that are watching this like, what the hell is a chatbot? You want to explain what a chatbot is before we dive too much into that curveball, Christy?
Yes. So a chatbot. Oh, I like that curveball. See, this is why you put on the baseball analogy. That I'm the one just giving the information. So
this is why I told you when we talked here, I was like, we'll just talk about it. Trust me, I'll do the slides and it'll be golden.
Yeah, because how you replied, I'm like, yeah, he wants okay tips. I gotcha. So a chatbot is a way of having automated communication. So it's a way of taking that artificial intelligence element and incorporating it into your everyday communication in an efficient way. So take, for example, a chatbot in Facebook. Now, a chatbot, you have the direct messages, both in Twitter and in Facebook. It's called Messenger inside Facebook. Well, if somebody messages your business page or messages you, enacting a chatbot would allow for an automated response to basically reply on your behalf. And then you can direct the communication and the conversation from how it goes from there. So if somebody instantly messages Serving Social, it can say, hi, thanks for reaching out. We'll be back. We'll be right with you in a moment. Or it could say something more advanced, like the same thing. Do you need help with social media, website, email? And then I can take them down a specific pathway in conversation that's all automated. And to the point where we find that it becomes human interaction needs to be put in play, that's when we tell them to give us a call. Because it almost interacts as a pre-qualifier for some of our leads, but it also aids them and gives them information right then and there that we might not be able to.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Like there's things you can, like doing a Facebook Live video or doing a live stream straight to Facebook where you're having people that leave comments. You say, hey, if you're watching this, do #bot or #deal if you want to get the details of the most recent deal. So you do a #deal, and then literally AI takes over, starts asking you questions, and based on your answers, the questions, it gives you information. Like, are you interested in this deal in Ohio? Yes. Great. Would you like to see do you want to get the details? Yes. Here's the UPB. Boom, boom. Here's a picture. Here's what we found out. You literally automate all that stuff through chatbots with a variety of things. And what I'm so excited about is, Christy and I didn't talk about this much. We are doing a huge overhaul with chatbots for what we're focused on in the note business. I think we're going to revolutionize the real estate industry with our chatbot stuff that we've got working on. We're really excited about it. That's a bit of a curveball that we're throwing, but there are ways for you guys out there just starting off to be able to use that with your pitches. If you have your deals, or if you're out talking or mentioning something on a Quest IRA call, hey, send me a message. You're interested in seeing my deal. And people can opt in from a Quest IRA thing where they comment on you or they private message you. The idea, I think Christy mentioned earlier, is all about getting individual conversations that are automated up to a point that the AI kind of filters through the conversation so that then you're only spending time talking to real serious people. Right, Christy?
Yep. Sorry. And that's the most important thing. It's giving yourself back time, but also being productive at the same thing. Like you want to make sure that if you're going to put it there, that you've taken the time to build out that user flow of conversation. You just don't want to throw something up there and see how it goes. You want to direct them all the way through, or you won't get to test it effectively. So I'm excited to see what you're doing. I love that. I'll test it out and break it a little bit.
I totally expect you and a bunch of other people on here to do that as well. So that's a bit of a curveball. Now let's talk a little bit of a change up. What should people do if they're doing something and they're not getting the same results that they were getting a month ago or a week ago, or they're not seeing the type of results that they're wanting to get? What do you think? Because I think a lot of people get frustrated that they don't see instant gratification. As a marketer and things like that, when somebody's pitching, what should they look at as far as a time frame before they start seeing results?
So if you're actively, consistently doing all of the elements, now keep in mind that's a whole big thing, because your marketing is not just about one thing, it's about multiple things working together. So it's a matter of setting goals is how you're going to be able to see and get that gratification that you're looking for. So before you start to do anything, for example, if you decide I'm going to start doing Facebook marketing, fabulous. What's your goal that you want out of it? And in what time frame are you hoping to achieve it? Because without that, you're not going to get any gratification. You're just going to feel like you're working because you never set an endpoint that you wanted to strive for. So I'd say that first. The other thing is to embrace something that you might not have ever thought to try. So, or something that you might have thought was dead. So you always hear that email's dead, or you hear that SEO, the practice of SEO is dead, and it's not. It just changes. How you use them. It might not be like SEO was the biggest thing at one point in time. All you needed to do was build links and do all of these things, and now it's not about that anymore. It's actually very, very low in the totem pole, but still necessary. So it's something about embracing that element that it will change, and how can you pivot for it, but you have a goal in mind that gives you that kind of that achievement that you're looking for, that check mark. That's why I said if you're going to engage with people, like for example, get online and communicate with people, try to set a goal for it so that you know that you're reaching your numbers. By the end of the week, if you've liked 5 people every day for 7 days, you can imagine how many new followers you've now attracted on your end at the same time.
Mm-hmm. And that's a big thing, is to set some realistic expectations. I know that there's some people watching this, or people that have been on the podcast or Note 9 in America before. 2 weeks after they take a class, they're getting frustrated because they're not finding note deals, or they don't have anybody nobody stepped up to fund my deals yet. Well, it's like, well, you've got to give it time. You've got to go through your pitches. You got to get through it. It's a long game. It's not going to be, you throw one pitch, it's a home run, and you walk out winners, right?
Yeah, that would be great, but not realistic. The other element I would say is to talk about social ads for a minute, because we all want that organic reach, but it's non-existent for a lot of people now, and it's just not there. And I'm not huge on social advertising, but when done effectively, when you actually take the time to plan it out, to figure out who your user audience is and how you plan on engaging with them and what the goal is you want out of it, it can be very effective. I mean, very effective. And especially when you have a great piece of content that you're trying to boost. Let me repeat that. Just don't boost every single posting that you put out there. You need to curate a great piece of content and then boost it. But if you're going to boost it and you're going to run an ad for it, where's it going? Is it going back to the landing page? If it's not, don't do it. You're wasting your money, because you're not getting them back to your website, or you're not getting them on the phone with you, or you're not getting them to email you. So it has to be a direct call to action at the end. But the ads, engagement, community element are going to be the 2 things that you need to pay attention to. How am I building and getting people to engage with me and building that community? And how much am I reserving in my budget to start getting myself out there more? Because it's always time versus money. So you need a little bit of both, even if it's only $25 a month. I've done amazing things with $25 a month, but I had to put the time into it to make it work.
That's correct. You've had to put some tools into your tool belt with the aspect of the marketing to get better. In using Canva images or something that's better versus just an ugly photo of something that's blurry and something you took on a phone that's not really high quality or high def, right?
Oh no, you need to put a great visual out there, because people are visual. Like, I'm going to skim right through your stuff if your image is crappy or your video has poor sound. It comes down to quality. I'd rather you put out one really great piece of content a week than put out 6 other pieces of crap. Because I'm not going to look at it, and you wasted all your time and energy building 6 other pieces when you could have been building 4 really high quality pieces and really targeting and spending time on those. So it's quantity is not always the thing in social media either. And I know people think I need to tweet 5 or 6 or 12 times a day. One person said 25 times a day they were trying to tweet because somebody told them they needed to. I was like, why? Pick one conversation you want to have on Twitter and have the conversation, one really targeted quality conversation, and be done with it. And then come back to it later when you have another one. They're like, oh, I never thought I could do that. You kind of set the rules for your time. But if you're expecting a big result out of it, then you need to allocate what you're putting your time into. Like what you said, everything first starts with marketing.
That's right. And whether it's an email blast you're going to send out to your database, take some time to write it. Or you're going to do a video once a week, take some time, script it out, focus on it, use a good camera, don't rush it. Or, I mean, just sharing it, getting it out there and sharing it is so valuable to kind of tweak things up. And, you know, I like to say fastball, curveball, change up here. What's important is you realize is not every pitcher throws the exact same pitch every stinking time, right? Sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low. They've got to mix it up to keep the batters on their toes to see some things out there. Otherwise, they're just sitting there and they know you're constantly going to throw over their head. They're just going to sit there and take a walk. So you guys out there, change it up. Throw a different aspect in it. You don't have to have 20 different things you're doing, but do a few different things to kind of mix it up and keep the game interesting. Right, Christy?
We don't want people to get bored. And that's why creative content is so important. And you're a really great example of that, Scott. Like when Star Wars is coming around, you're throwing all these themes that you're intermingling in with what you're doing to make your content more inviting and more creative and more fun. Because if you were just talking about the same thing, notes with the same graphic every single time, I'm going to get bored after a while.
Yeah.
So by you changing up the themes and creating more unique content and giving it to me in multiple different ways. So you're like, here, it's on the blog and it's on the podcast and you can find the videos on Facebook. Like you gave it in multiple ways, but you took one piece of content and you broke it down. So you weren't duplicating your effort 6 times over. So yes, it's just that creative content.
Yeah, I'm a little bummed that Han Solo is coming out and we're not going to be in the office a little bit. Solo.
Oh,
I can think of so many great note marketing things for Solo. Maybe I'll have to do it when I get back if it's still hot. Same thing like Deadpool. We had so much come out with like Notepool last year or 2 years ago when the first Deadpool came out. Yeah, I've been slacking a little bit this summer, but that's okay. Things lined up. So any questions for Christy, guys and gals out there? Any questions for our hot shot pitching coach? See, I see people here making some comments on Facebook. Good stuff. If you guys are watching on Facebook Live, do me a favor, hit the share button, share it to your page or share it to another one as well. But if you got questions for Christy, now's the time to ask this before we let her get on her merry Monday night way. All right?
Yes, I have a nice drink waiting for me.
Oh, yeah? Got a little bourbon there?
Yes, actually. You got some honey bourbon.
Very nice, very nice. Tell Elijah quit drinking all the bourbon in the trailer.
Dude, I'm telling you, you can't keep it around here. He's been on a moonshine kick right now, which has been interesting.
Cool.
So it's summer.
You need a spare key to our house while we're gone. You can empty out the liquor cabinets while we're gone. All right. So Christina says, when boosting on Facebook, is there also a way to put a contact form so they go straight into the database?
So those are integrations, like third-party integrations. It's not something that comes standard with Facebook ads. So it's something where if you want them to go to a form where you collect information, you need a third party that's collecting that information. So if I have a link that goes to a landing page where they enter in the information on the form, perfect. That's what you want. Because the idea is you want that click through to another page so that you can record that click. And so also you are making sure that you're just not getting a whole bunch of people clicking on it, spamming it. You can actually track it back to your site. Just having them enter in a form with from like if inside Facebook wouldn't serve you the same way.
Yeah, the biggest thing to keep in mind too is if you're going to boost a post or create an ad, it does ask you, hey, where do you want this to go? So you could very easily go to like the MailChimp, Christina, and then create a custom list that gives you a link and put that link into the thing. But you're going to be effective in communicating what you want. Hey, get on my buyers list or get on my funding, get on my investors list. And you have to have an effective photo to get people to click on it. And then when they click on that link too, it takes them to that landing page in MailChimp or something like that. You want to make sure that's good looking as well. That's well designed. And honestly, the biggest mistake I see a lot of people do is they ask for everybody's bio when they fill out the information. Like a first name, last name, email, full address, your Gemini sign, your date of birth. It's different if you're asking a survey results, but if you're just trying to get somebody to go on, I mean, would you go up to a guy out the bar and say, hey, give me everything about you, your blood type, your shoe size, everything else? Or would you just say, hey, what's your name? Can I get your number?
How you doing?
How you doing? Exactly. How you doing? Would you like to get on my hot list? You know?
It's all about user experience, right? One experience might leave you taking someone home. The other experience might leave you on the floor because you got hit. You know, whatever that might be.
Or it has them running in horror away from you. Okay.
Exactly.
I'm glad I hit the right button.
If you keep in mind user experience all the time in everything you're doing, like if you're creating something that you're having somebody click through to or a form that you want somebody to fill out, just think about if you would fill it out. Would I click on this? Would I want to fill this much information out? It's not about what you want to collect. It's about what your user's willing to do and what value are you giving them to get them to do it. So user experience is big.
Yeah, you see a lot of people offering up ebooks. It's something we do. Hey, for $1, buy my 52-page book on investing, or get access to this video series, or get access to my one-page report or something like that. That's effective because they're adding value. You know, a name, an email, and a phone number, that's not a lot. People are often willing to give that to get access to a one-page report as long as that report is valuable or something like that. So, all right. So cool. Well, what, Christy?
Oh, nothing. I'm good.
You're good? Well, hey, we will let you get back to the bullpen there and get your honey bourbon going on tonight. You have to give Elijah a big hi for us, okay?
Will do.
I'll give you a phone call later, alrighty?
Yeah. Talk to you later. Bye, guys. Thank you.
All right. Good stuff there. All right. We are going to jump in here. Up question here from everything. Great tips, Christy. Yep. Christy, that's why she's awesome. That's why we love to have her on. We can probably need to have her on a little bit more often if she's listening still. Christy, we need to have you on probably at least once a month, if not. So anyway, let's move on here now to the other aspects of being a good 5-tool investor. So one of the things that goes, well, it's fielding well. The next thing besides just throwing is you want to be able to field the ball or catch the ball, okay? And this is one thing that comes from practice. And fielding well is, I'm a big believer, it's all about breaking down deals. It's all about going through them. It's all about, if you think about how many ground balls or how many fly balls a first baseman or an outfielder literally do on a regular basis, think about that. How many they actually do on a regular basis before they ever get in a game, before they ever go from little league into the game or to T-ball or to, you know, freshman league, junior varsity, or high school in the A-ball. You know, think about that. How many practice swings are they doing? How many times are they fielding to get to things? And what's it got to do with it? What to do with it, especially when they're now in a game and they get the ball hit them away. What do they do with it? Just stand and hold the ball? Or do they need to throw it to first to get the guy out? Or they need to flip it to the second baseman if they're playing short to turn 2? Okay? There's a whole lot of scenarios that go with fielding well. And I'm a big believer that is a good analogy for note investors. Hey, we get a deal. What the hell am I going to do with this deal? Does it make sense? Do I need to throw it away? Do I need to just catch it and get rid of it? Isn't it out? What base do I need to throw it to? Do I need to throw it to my attorney? Do I need to throw it to my servicer? Do I need to throw it to the insurance company? Okay. Can I make a double play on this deal? Can I pick up another asset really fast? You know, there's a whole lot of analogy as well. Now, if you think about this, I ran a search on the average fielding percentage, the fielding breakdown of every major league team for last year. And they were averaging a 0.984 average. That means they were making still 16 mistakes out of 1,000. Out of 1,000 plays, they were still averaging about 16 mistakes. Now, they make more than 1,000 plays because you figure 146 pitches, who's got to catch? You got a pitcher throwing it, you got a catcher catching it, hits, things like that. There's a lot of plays that take place, especially in a 162-day season. And with us as investors, it's a 365-day-a-year business for the most part, okay? And so as you're practicing and you're breaking things down, you're going to make mistakes. What you can't be afraid of is to get in the game and throw the ball. Now, I put a picture here. You probably can't tell who this guy is. Frank, we're not talking about broken deals. We're just talking about being a note investor. If you want to just be a broker where you're not investing yourself, this is probably not the call for you, buddy. Okay. If you just want to be a broker, a wholesaler, yeah, go on to something else. Okay. But the guy that I showed here is a guy by the name of Rick Ankiel. Okay. And Rick Ankiel, great player coming up. Okay. He's a Cardinal, was a Cardinal. Okay. But he broke into the big leagues at age 19, 20 as an amazing pitcher. And then he had one horrible outing into his first or second year. I don't remember what it was, a couple years into the league, where he was just wild. He had a case of the yips. Couldn't throw a strike, throw it above, outside. It was like a wild thing. And he retired. And then Tony La Russa, who was manager of the Cardinals, called him back and said, hey, why don't you come be an outfielder? Because every time you got up to bat as a pitcher, you were still hitting it. And I think we can convert you to an outfielder. Okay. And so he came back and played for a few more years as an outfielder. All right. One of the great stories that somebody went from having the yips to having the yeses, I'd like to say, but he screwed up a lot and he didn't give up on himself. He came back. Unfortunately, a lot of note investors, they make one mistake and they get down themselves. They make one mistake on due diligence, like, oh, I can't do this. I'm too scared to take steps. And the only way you're going to get better at honing your craft is by doing things over and over and over again, breaking down deals, looking at assets, looking at tapes, making phone calls, doing the things that we talked about previously. Christy, fielding the ball on a regular daily basis, taking grounders, just throwing the ball, playing catch, getting better at your craft, okay? Getting your 10,000s of expertise out there as you get better as a fielder, better as a second baseman, shortstop, whatever your favorite position is, okay? It's all about doing it over and over. Yeah, wash, rinse, and repeat, doing it over again. That's the only way you get better. But you still look at these guys in the Major League are still making mistakes. They're still dropping the ball. They're still throwing the ball high. They're still throwing it to the backstop on wild pitches, okay? Doesn't mean you're perfect, but it means you get better every day, okay? What the last thing you want to have when it comes to fielding is to have the whole don't hit it to me complex. People get in the game like, okay, I'm in the game. Yeah, I'm standing in the outfield. Oh, shit, don't hit it to me. You don't want to have that. You want to get in the game. That's the only way you know how well it is. I've seen friends that are like, oh, my God. They get in the game for the first time. They're all shaking. Somebody hit the ball to them like, fall over crazy. Don't do that in the note industry. Don't do that as real estate investors. You want it to hit it to me, okay? You don't want to be like Dan Deppen says, that was me in Little League. Don't hit it to me. Don't hit it to me, Dan. Dan, don't hit it to me, Deppen. You got a new nickname, buddy. All right, moving on here. Let's go on to the third tool. This is all about running your bases well. They run the bases well out there, okay? I'm a big believer. You get on base, you get a hit in. You don't get picked off by tax sale. You don't get picked off by something stupid, missing something untitled, okay? It's important, too, that you can also, when you get on base, you can steal a base or two. You can turn a non-performer into a trial payment plan with a phone call or a letter, okay? Or getting a mod agreement from just making sometimes a simple phone call or simple letter, okay? Those are great ways to steal bases. And one of the things that we always get when we have people come in here for Austin for the fast track training is when we share the trial payment plans or our basic letter that we send up, people are like, this is it? I'm like, that's basically it. It's got a 60% success rate. I'll take it. It saves us thousands of dollars on the assets we buy, okay? Now, another thing about running the bases, too, is you want to be aggressive, okay? You want to be aggressive getting the deals to legal if the baller is not going to play ball with you. That was not an analogy I meant to say, but you get what I'm saying. Is don't be afraid to send it to legal. You should not be trying to do everything yourself. If you have no experience, then don't be trying to steal bases or take two bases when you probably should be standing on the base versus trying to steal, okay? You also have to know your situations, all right? When is a good time to steal? When is it not? Okay? Do you have a potential big deal there that you don't want to risk getting tagged out when your big deal could be a home run there and you do something stupid? I had an ex-investor, a story I heard just recently through the grapevine of somebody that was in the mastermind in Dallas. They were out making an offer on some property. They hit it off because this guy was in the military and the buyer or the homeowner was in the military. They had a deal. They had basically a deal agreed on the number the guy was to buy the house at. Well, the next day, the guy went back and said, well, he got greedy. Okay. He said, well, I need $10,000 more to make this deal work. And the buyer's like, screw you. No, forget it. It's off. And he went back and talked to my buddy Jason. Jason's like, well, was it a deal at the $10,000 above before you went back? Yeah, it was a great deal. Then why'd you try to get greedy and ruin a good deal now? And I think I see that. Well, it's not. I think I know I see that happening. I see people that want the perfect deal. It's got to be exactly this. When I look at things, well, are you overanalyzing? Are you looking at your numbers like the worst possible situation? And we've had people come in like that, like, oh, I have all my due diligence based on the worst possible situation, and we don't bid above that. And I'm like, well, if you worry about the worst possible situation, you're never going to get off first base. You're never going to get off of home base if you're worried about the worst possible situation. Sometimes you got to get in there, get dirty, and if you get in there, get a little aggressive, you'll be amazed at some of the things that you can do to really score some extra runs. Questions? There is no perfect, but keep chasing it, and I will take the things you don't like. Lisa Hawkinson says, yeah, right. I'll take the things that you don't like. And I've seen that happen. I've seen people that literally, I actually booted a couple people out of my mastermind, like, oh, we want the perfect deal. I'm like, this is a great deal, dude. Why are you not pulling the trigger on this? Well, because it's not perfect. I'm like, nothing's going to be perfect. Okay. And I was like, fine, screw it. I'm taking the deal. I'll do the deal if you're not going to do it. I'm not going to let a good deal go to waste. And eventually booted them out because the fact is that they were uncoachable. They could not listen to coaching. They weren't coachable. And that's one of the big things you want to keep in mind, everybody, is you want to be coachable. You want, there we go. It's awesome. You want to be able to coachable and know which situations you're in. When it does call for you to be a little bit more aggressive or call for you to be a little less aggressive on things. It all comes from just practice and getting around and getting in the game. Okay. Moving on here. This is one hit for average. Now I've got a picture of Tony Gwynn here. Rest his soul, rest in peace. Tony Gwynn from the San Diego Padres. One guy was not a big home run hitter. He was all about singles and doubles, right? One of the best contact hitters in the game. And if you look at him, that's actually a pretty nice picture. The guy was a little bit thick around the middle. Let's just put it there, okay? If you think about going for contact, and if you get 3 hits out of every 10, and you bat 300, that's a Hall of Fame worthy average. If you hit 300 for your lifetime, you're going to make it in the Hall of Fame. And that's one of the things that we talk about. Hey, what we see is our closing ratio, the time that we get hits and doubles and things, is roughly about 30% of the time. If I make 10 offers, I'm probably going to get 3 to 4 that come in there somewhere where I get accepted and run with those. The other 50, 60, 70% of stuff that we bid on that doesn't go through either, A, somebody overbid or outbid us, or if the deal gets pulled, there's a whole variety of things. So the thing you got to keep in mind is that there are a lot of deals out there that you can hit for average. You can do some performing notes if you're looking for a decent return. Dan was talking about that earlier. He's buying some performing notes for his self-directed IRA. Great singles, great doubles, making 10, 12, 13% in his IRA. So kudos to you, Dan. Don't ever talk down about your deals. There's some people's like, well, they talk a little because it's not as so sexy as a 30% yield. You know what? Hey, if you're making 12, 13% and you're happy, hey, kudos to you. You're winning at the game of notes, okay? Performing or reperforming notes is another thing. People like to buy stuff that can get newly reperforming. It's one of our big game plans. Hey, we buy something that's not performing with the goal of getting it reperforming. Or we like to also buy a lot of contract for deeds with low default days, where they've got less than 6 months of default on it, or they've made a payment in the last 12 months or less. Those are some things that we can actually hit for average that return a pretty decent return to us. And any questions about hitting for average? Because there's nothing wrong with just singles and doubles. You can hit lit on singles and doubles, and you'll be sitting in the Hall of Fame when it comes down to it, okay? Singles and doubles is one of the best things you can literally do in your real estate and note business. You don't have to try to hit it out of the yard every time, trying to hit a grand slam when there's nobody on base. And I see that, I'm going to go out and hit 50 home runs this year. I'm going to hit 50 deals this year. I'm like, you haven't even closed on one yet. Let's get you closing on 1 or 2 or 3, and then let's start talking about then hitting for power, okay? Because that's the 5th, basically, tool. Besides hitting for average, let's repeat the first 4 before we get to 5. All about throwing well, pitching, fielding, running the bases, and hitting for average. What would you think the 5th tool is, which is pretty obvious because somebody's already seen the slide that I already posted. 5th one is all about hitting for power. And I put Barry Bonds on here, the all-time home run king. Hank, some people will argue with that Hank Aaron's the all-time home run queen. That's our king. Not going to argue with both of you. I'm just a big Barry Bonds fan growing up, big San Francisco Giants fan, okay? Hitting for power. And as I said before, chicks dig the long ball, okay? Home runs are great, and you're going to have that. What comes with big home runs? Big checks. And what causes big checks? A variety of things. You either buy at the right price, or the property has appreciated over time frame. We've held on to that note through foreclosure time frames. We've done a lot with that. You end up negotiating. Maybe you speed up a foreclosure time frame and are able to offer cash for keys, for deed in lieu, or consent to judgment, and you get something taking place. Or the hedge fund messes up on the value, and then you see that the value that you find is a lot more than what the seller believes it is, and you're right and they're wrong. So, but I will tell you this: when you swing for the fences, when you're constantly swinging for home runs, you're likely to strike out more. You're likely to miss on a lot more because you're swinging or adjusting your numbers so that your deal is a home run. You're going to strike out more. You're going to make a whole lot more offers versus adjusting your numbers so that you're hitting singles and doubles. Okay. I'm not talking about overpaying for assets. I'm talking about stuff that makes sense for you. If you stick to your numbers, if you're coming out of your shoes, trying to hit a home run every time, you're going to strike out a whole lot more. And if you look back, if you do a search for home run leaders versus strikeout leaders for the year, there's a lot of similarities between the two. Okay. A lot of similarities between the two. Great home run hitters aren't always the guys that are hitting for average either. That's why I'm a big fan of Barry Bonds. He's always hitting for average, always doing great with stuff like that. At the end of his career, he didn't get a lot of good pitches to hit at, but he was still hitting them out. I think he only led the majors in home runs twice in 2 years. The year he hit 73, and then another earlier, in 2001, I think when he was still with the Pirates. But big thing, guys, here, hitting for power is great. You've got to know when to really turn on it. You know when to pull it up and then really swing for the fences on it. If you've got a really great deal that is it's potential for that, then dive into it. But the way you get ahead in the game, though, for the most part, is playing small ball. Singles, doubles, bunts, spun hits, sacrificing some deals. That's the way to really be a good baseball player, is doing all the things well, not just one. Because if you only focus on one thing, you're not going to be as successful as others that have better stuff. That's why we talked about at the beginning about, Mike Trout is a true 5-tool player. Okay. There's people going to the Hall of Fame. Frank Thomas, great 5-tool player. Okay. One of my favorites, Jeff Bagwell, just recently won the Hall of Fame, was a 5-tool player, except for his last years. His shoulder was just demolished, couldn't hardly throw the ball, but he could still hit. And he had the funky bat swing. So that's the thing, too. Look at what other people are doing and model them. Be coachable. Listen to your pitching coaches, your batting coaches, things out there that are telling you what to do and what not to do, and don't go out trying to hit a home run every time of the play, because it doesn't happen. But you also have to be very careful of taking advice from people that aren't closing deals. There's plenty of people out there that are supposedly educators now because they can't close deals, so they're going to teach you now how not to close deals. Do you want to take advice from somebody who's closed 1,000 deals or closed on 30 deals or 10 deals or 5 deals? Now, I'm not saying you can't learn something from somebody who's closed on 5 or 10 or 30 deals, but somebody who's wanting bigger things, you've got to be going for those bigger shoes. Okay? Be coachable, learn what's going on, and go out and make something happen. So those are the 5 tools, guys, to help you get better base hits and home runs, how to make more money in the note business. Hey, focus on your tools. Be a complete investor in what you're doing. All right? Don't just focus on one thing. You've got to be all encompassing. Got to be a great pitcher, great marketer. All right? Got to be good in fielding. That's due diligence. And knowing you got a good base runner, knowing who to run to and what to do and how to delegate that out aspect of things. Then being able to hit for average. Nothing wrong with hitting for average. And then, of course, knowing when to pull out the big stick and hit it for the big bomb when it's worthy of, then time to pull out the big dog. So any questions, comments, concerns, guys or gals? That's roughly what I've got for you tonight. We are, what time is it? Are we doing on time? Roughly about an hour, right? Oh, look at it, right on at 58 minutes. I love it. Questions, comments, concerns for you guys out there? Once again, if you're watching this, please hit the share button, share it across your social media, see if we can get a few hundred extra hits off it with you guys sharing across the Facebook platform. Okay. Let's see if we got some comments on here. Facebook. Yeah, Tony, that's right, Mr. Jeffrey Wolf. The Wolfman. Oh, liked Tony Gwynn. There we go. Chrissy White says that. Laura's smiling. Great. Thanks, Lynn. Good. Yes, you guys hear her. That's good. All right. Good stuff. Joe, you got that figured out. All right. Any other final questions, comments, concerns before I let you go this Monday night? Hopefully this was helpful. I like to shake it up a little bit, try to think something a little bit different. I know it's very easy to get in the same type of rut. Oh, I'm doing the same things and get burnt out, especially when you're burning the candle above ends. For those of you that are working full-time jobs and don't invest in the side, trying to figure things out, shake it up a little bit. Sometimes take a day off, all right? And don't be afraid to throw a curveball in there every once in a while just to kind of see what happens, okay? Thanks, Lisa. I appreciate it. All right. Well, then that will wrap it up for this evening, for this Note Night in America. We will be off for 3 weeks until we come back, until the next Note Night in America will be June 18th, actually, Monday, June 18th. We'll make sure and get an email out to you guys as well for that. But that'll be the next Note Night in America, Monday, June 18th. We're off for 3 weeks. Go out, make something happen. Take advantage of a lot of the education, a lot of the comments, a lot of the videos we have out there, guys. There's so much great education and going out and making things happen for you. That's what we want, is to do some stuff. We want you guys to take action. We want you to close deals because we believe there's plenty to go around. And go out and make it happen, all right? Questions? All right, Warren, glad to hear that, buddy. Great to meet you this last week where did I meet you at? Raleigh-Durham. It's been a bit of a whirlwind the last week getting home from Hawaii for a couple of days and flying out to Raleigh-Durham on Tuesday morning to speak Tuesday night, flying home Wednesday, and then flying out Thursday night to San Diego for the Magnify Your Wealth Summit for a day. Great to see everybody that was out there in San Diego, and then, of course, flying home first thing Saturday morning. So, yeah, we will definitely enjoy our trip. Thanks, Tony. Guys, go make something happen. Thank you again for always being here. Glad you enjoy it with Christy, and we'll see you all at the top, everybody. Bye.